Welcome to Daddies the podcast. I'm Greg.
And I'm Eric.
And today we have a very special guest, Mr. Tim McMahon of Valhalla, Beard and Body. Welcome, Tim. Thank you for being on the show this week and at a really short notice, too.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you. Glad to be here.
So for those of you who don't know, Tim puts out some really fucking good shit. I think I started using your stuff. When did you do? What was the grape cologne scented soap? When did that come out?
That was June last year.
Okay, so that's when I started. So I went from Squatch, like I think everyone does, and then to your stuff, and it was like it was night and day. And I think I ended up giving Eric a whole bunch of different bars and
I have
oils.
I have a sample box, or there was a box full of samples, and it's right now. The empty box is sitting on the top of my toilet. So I see the Valhalla thing every day.
So
Nice.
So Tim, how did you get started? What kind of interested you in soap and the whole hygiene world?
Well, I honestly, I started years ago using natural soap. Nothing against Squatch. I never used Squatch. I've never used it once at all. And so I used to go, I would go to I'm in Arizona, so I'd go like the Gilbert Farmers Market or our Whole Foods here had natural soap that they would sell like in bulk, like you'd buy chunks of it.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was friggin' expensive too, but I would still buy it. My wife's like, what the hell do you need $12 worth of soap for? or, like we'd go, we like to travel. We used to like to travel a lot, and, we'd be in, Savannah, Georgia or somewhere. And, I always bought from the local vendors cause I thought it was cool. I don't do stupid t-shirts and shit. I buy local stuff from local makers. I in my shop, if I was in my shop, I could show you a bunch of cool shit that I've picked up from different places. And so, it felt better because I suffer with eczema.
Okay.
It's a lot more controlled now, but the natural soap helped out a lot with the eczema because I didn't dry out as much as like even a sensitive skin Dove or anything. It dries you out.
Sure. So
at one point I just said, you know what, I'm going to try making this shit. And, I wouldn't say I'm a crafty guy. I'm more a technical person as far as, I came up through the trades and stuff. So I'm really good with my hands and fixing stuff and, troubleshooting things. So I said, well, I'm going to give this shit a try. And so probably about 10 months before I actually opened my business, I just started making soap and experimenting with different essential oils. Really, I started off with essential oils and just messing around with different butters and oils and, trying to dial things in. And then I was just giving it out. I was giving it out to people saying, hey, what do you think of this? And some people are like, yeah, I'm not trying that. Or, and then they tried, they come back and they say, holy shit, that's pretty good stuff, and most of it was my employees when I worked for the city of Scottsdale. I was a manager over there, and I had a really good team. And I was just handing shit out, and they come back and they're like, damn, that shit's good. I said, you're not gonna get a raise. It's
yeah, right.
I want an honest opinion because I don't want to look like a douche. So I just started perfecting it. And then my actual first purchase, was from my boss.
Okay.
He loved it. And so I still have that $20 bill. And so then I said, screw it. And I started building the website by myself, and fuck, that was absolutely painful. And, I went the cheaper route through Square, and, I started very low budget. I was using our personal money from my wife, and I would reimburse. So when I made money, I basically took a loan from our savings. And, within the first 9 months of business, I actually paid it all back, and I was in the green at that point. Okay. And so, yeah, I mean, it was just something, and the beard stuff to go with it. I just, I've had a beard for a long time. I used to keep it a lot shorter, but, I would use beard oils that, would stain my clothes or, I never really got into the small batch beard market. I didn't really know how deep the small batch beard market was either. I didn't know how deep the soap market was. And, so I just started, mixing oils and said, how am I going to pay, $20 for a beard oil when I saw something at like a show or something. And so then my wife had got me some Duke Cannon stuff, and nothing against Duke Cannon.
Sure, yeah.
I put something in my beard. It was a whiskey barrel stout or red cedar stout, red cedar whiskey, some shit like that. And it was so freaking strong. I had to wash it on my beard. It was like my eyes were burning in my hand, and it was this little tester thing. And so I said, screw this. I'm going to start making my own stuff. And so I just learned, I watched some YouTube stuff,
Yeah.
Mostly read some books. I talked to the local soap ladies that from the supply store
Sure.
that I get most of my stuff from. And I just started running with it. And, I actually enjoy it. It's getting hectic now because of how much it's grown, working a full-time job and doing this. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of the start of it.
Yeah. So when you started, were there like what were your OG scents? Like what did you have like a whole lineup, or was it just like a couple that you were giving out? Like what were the
I had four.
Okay.
So I started off with I liked beard wax.
Okay.
And the more I got into the market, I find out a lot of guys don't even like wax. And so I started making beard wax and beard balm, and it was good. It was working well, had really good hold. I got a little bit longer beard. And but the scent, I started off with Berserker's Fury, which is a wintergreen. It's all natural because I started off saying I'm going to do all natural, everything, all essential oils. Well, that's really fucking hard to do.
Yep.
There's only really like 46 true essential oils. You buy stuff that says it's essential oil. It's not really essential oil.
Sure.
And anybody that says they have true sandalwood and they're selling it for $18 a beard oil is full of shit, because sandalwood is massively expensive. Or rose. I learned it takes 40,000 roses to make half an ounce of rose essential oil.
Wow.
Sure, right.
But so Berserker's Fury had cedarwood, and that's why I still have that one. It's a cedarwood, has birch, sweet birch, which is a wintergreen scent.
Okay.
God, it has clove in it, and so that one was my first one. I had this one called Odin's Mead, which had the sandalwood in it, had some bergamot, had frankincense, and then Shield of Valhalla. I don't carry either of those two anymore because they were okay. But as I started to dig into the fragrance oil market, I just found out, number one, the fragrance oils are more popular with everybody, and I could get way more creative with that stuff.
Sure. Yeah, right.
And another one I keep is the Gold of Asgard. That's a tobacco and vanilla. And what everybody said, vanilla is not an essential oil either. So, so that was my first dive into that.
It's essential for bakers. I think that's
Yeah,
the
sure,
only
right,
essential.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I tried to do you remember, Eric? I went down I'm only like no fragrance oils. I'm going all natural.
You said fuck added artificial fragrances.
Yeah,
fuck parabens.
I was like, it has to say natural. It has to say natural, or I'm not using it. And so
I was
all the
worried
soaps
for
I
you.
were buying, they all just smelled earthy, like very earthy. And that was it. And so my wife was like, they don't smell good. I mean, and for some people, sure, they like that smell, but and then I just I went on to the fucking internet and just did some of my own research and was like, it's probably not kind of as bad as people are leading on. And I think that was when I kind of made that jump into all these other brands. And so like, I mean, for me, I don't think there's been a single bar of yours that I haven't liked. I think I'm trying to think if there's anything, and what I've given Eric's always just kind of been like, I've just cut what I have down into smaller pieces to give out. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where like certain brands like dry me out. And so being able to kind of, I don't know, find something that works makes me not want to branch out and try other things. So like for you, do you use your own product, or are you like, you don't use your own, your own supply?
Don't get high in your own supply.
That might just be a drug dealer thing.
Is that just a drug dealer thing?
Yeah. Well, to go back to the essential oil thing, I have a fair amount. I would say, I don't know off the top of my head. I have too many profiles. Number one, I got to cut back on some stuff because it's hard to keep up.
Sure, right.
But I probably have at least 12 profiles that are 100% essential oils, and that's getting creative. I think a wizard at that is John Larkin at the Black Stuff. That guy makes some freaking phenomenal scents, and I believe I use the same essential oils he does. I get them from the UK, and they're just top notch. They're expensive though. I mean, I probably have $4,000 worth of essential oils, just in essential oils, and then I probably another 4,000 fragrance oils. But I do, to answer your question, I do use my own stuff. A lot of times, if I have an over pour, like if I'm pouring, I still make small loaves. They were still the loaves that I got, the little 3-pound ones I got off of Amazon, and I have like 32 of them now. So, I make a lot of that. I keep it small because I'm a creature of habit too. I'll double batch them so I can make 2 at a time. So that helps me, but I don't want to get into the larger molds. I don't have room for it.
Sure.
And I'm just comfortable with what I'm doing. So I don't want to mess something up or tweak a recipe, and then somebody gets a batch of bars that didn't turn out right. And I'm very particular about that too. But I do use my own soap. I started off use it. That's all I used. But I'll use either slivers of stuff that I had, or bars that I had left over. But right now I look at it as, I could make $8 a bar on that.
Sure.
But I also buy from other people too. There's other makers that I think make some incredible stuff. And, I'm one of those people that, if I'm going to preach support small business, I'm going to do it myself, and
sure.
So I do buy from other makers, people that I've become friends with, or just people that make good shit, and so I have a little mixture. I probably have about two full bars in the shower every time.
Yeah. And
then I'll have smaller ones, like small molds that I poured that had a little left over. I try not to waste any.
Well, and I know too, like when, whenever you do your drops, I always try to get the custom molded bars, just because they're badass looking. You're doing a bar release. Like how many bars are you doing? Is there a set amount? Like I notice a lot of stuff, not everything, but there are multiple things that come back in stock. So like, is there like a set number?
So I'm going to go back to, because it all ties in. It's not me being a freaking Aesop. So you said your first bar was the Lithus Blot. It was the grape soda cologne one. So that was when I had brown boxes.
Yes.
And so back then I would just make whatever I can make, as quickly as possible, and let it cure and stuff. But I didn't have to make as much because I wasn't as busy.
Sure.
So, but now that I have the custom printed boxes that I do, I have to order those way in advance. And honestly, I don't have any other, I couldn't get anybody in the USA to give me reasonable pricing on boxes. So I went through Alibaba, and this lady in China is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
The lady, her customer service is freaking great. I don't care if it's China for that.
Sure.
They give me a great product. So when I design those, I'll just say, for example, the drop I'm doing on the 3rd, for this Barber Shop collab. I ordered 200 boxes, and 100 of them went to the barber shop, and I have 100 for mine. So I said, I got to make 200 bars of soap. Each loaf produces 8 bars in one custom. So, add all that up. If in a weekend, since I do this on the side, I'm pretty much making soap every weekend. I could on a good weekend, I can make about 28 loaves of soap. But that's pretty much not doing anything else. I'm working all day Saturday, Sunday doing it, and that's pretty typical. So I try to get, when I have the limited edition ones, I try to get at least most of my limited editions. I'll order 150 boxes. So I'll have 150 available. I'll make that. And then once the limited editions are gone, they're gone. The standard mainline ones, I'll order 300 boxes at a time. So, I'll have them. So I'll make what I can. Cause if I've got to make, like last month, I had to make the 2 birds brick and the Ostera. So I made just over 100 of each of those. I'm going to make some more for June, but so I had to make those 200 bars plus whatever I could in restock. So a lot of times I'm only doing, say it's Berserker, and I'll only make 4 loaves of that. So I'll have 32 bars available. This time for May 3rd, I'll have, I had all that barbershop I had to do, and then I made a whole bunch of Thor. So I made 8 loaves of Thor. And so I try to do as much as I can and still try to have a life, but it's not working out.
Very reasonable. I think everybody deserves that. Can I ask, my familiarity with the soap world is limited. Where I know it mostly is from the movie Fight Club, and I think I'm sure you've seen it. Where do they go? They go to the pharmaceutical or like the they go to like the plastic surgery place, the liposuction place, and they steal all the fat. So, like, tell me, is it any bit like that? Like, what's the actual process of like the making of the soap? I don't know. Is it easy? Are you like a scientist or what?
It's pretty easy, to be straightforward. There's a calculator I use online. So, and it's designed it's called Soap Making Friend. So, it's all in how you tweak your recipes. So, you're taking fats. So in Fight Club, they use human fat, which can be used because you use tallow. You could use. I haven't gone down that road yet, so I don't think I will.
You might have to advertise it as such if you do so. I'm sure.
I think I have a lot to give for that, but I don't know how I'd get it out to do that, and I don't know how popular.
That's my brand.
So, but the. Yeah, I mean, it basically, if I'll come up with a recipe, and I like to put at least 1 butter in every recipe. So some will have mango and shea butter. You just have to be careful with your percentages, because if you go too high on something, it creates certain things. Like too much coconut oil creates amazing lather, but it dries you out because it's very cleansing.
Sure.
So you have to balance all that stuff out. So I balance it really well with I want really good lather. But I also got to have the conditioning effect, which you get from olive oil, avocado oil, sweet almond oil, the hardening effect you get from mango butter, tallow, palm oil, shea butter, and then castor oil is in every single one of my recipes, because that also helps produce the smaller bubbled lather, if you will. But too much of that will make it a sticky soap. So it's a balancing act. The thing that scares most people off, because I do I did a lot of hot process for a while, just for certain lines of things, but I had to abandon it because it's too much time. I can't make as much anymore. Sure. But because it's cold process, you're working with, I run my stuff down to 109 degrees. So I'll melt all my butters and heat my oils, everything together. And then I put my lye in the water. And it's the lye in the water creates that instant chemical reaction and brings the water up to 190 degrees. So you got to let it all kind of cool down together. And then once it cools down, you just mix it and you blend it. And the trick is in blending. You over blend it, it traces too fast, and then you can't pour it. If you use certain fragrance oils accelerate that trace, and it turns to, I've ruined quite a few batches of soap by having a fragrance oil I hadn't used yet, or something. So even great fragrance oils, they could be paraben free. I use most of that stuff. I buy from really good suppliers, but some of them, like a lot of cologne, a lot of floral type scents, create that fast trace, and the soap is almost ruined on some of them.
That's science right there, 100%. Like just going through and figuring out what works and what doesn't work. Yeah, you're a
like,
legit scientist,
like Walter White of the soap world.
For real.
Well, and especially the essential oil calculations. I use a calculator for that because and even the fragrance oils, you have to follow the IFRA and make sure that you're not using too much of something. You got to make sure the stuff is soap safe, that it's skin safe. But the essential oils, especially, because everybody thinks, oh, I'll rub essential oil in my ear and it'll feel better. But too much of a certain essential oil can be toxic.
I'm sure.
And so you have to be really, really careful with that.
What's the, you said IFRA?
Yeah, the International Fragrance, I can't remember what it is. Fragrance Regulation Agency or something like that. It's probably wrong.
That gets the point across.
I just always go by IFRA. When I did all my research, I knew the acronym.
That's fair. You only have to look IFRA. Yeah. Greg, are you looking that up?
That's right.
No, I'm actually.
Okay.
Well, and
I'm
I was just curious.
So I want to circle back to the boxes because I wanted to jump in. So I got this one, and I have the 2 birds, 1 brick, and these boxes are just fucking phenomenal. So the design, so is the design AI based? Like, is that how these are made, or do you have like a graphic designer doing these, or is this just AI?
It's all AI.
It's fucking awesome.
I started. Oh, I appreciate it. It's what you put into it. I'm one of those people that think AI is going to fucking ruin this world, like Terminator movie.
That's fair. Yeah.
But I might as well ride the ship while I can. But it's
what robots don't need? They don't need soap. So
no, they don't.
We got to balance this out.
That's right. But yeah, I mean, it's all of that's my imagination. So I use a combination of Canva and AI. So I grab, I'll describe my imagination of a particular thing, like the 2 birds, 1 brick. That's Odin's ravens, Hugin and Munin. And I said to that particular thing in AI, I said I wanted to create an image of Odin, an older Odin sitting at a table eating berries with his 2 ravens, and you'd be surprised how many versions of things and the weirdest shit it comes up with. And then you tweak it a little bit until you get what you want. And so then I take that image and I put it into Canva with my box template. And then Canva has tons of borders and fonts. Some certain fonts I had to buy and import into Canva, but all the other stuff behind it, I mean, the image is the only thing that's AI generated, and then I go in and add all the little touches to everything to make each one specific to what my imagination is for that.
That's fascinating. Like Eric and I, so my wife's a teacher, so Canva, like that's her shit. So we just started getting into it, but I guess I never really thought about AI for like generating images and like just how much it can do. Like normally we were using it to write our the intros to all of our episodes for like 2 months.
It was almost a running gag.
It was.
We would say, right? What was the prompt? Write an inappropriate or a perverted or a sexual
focused on like these specific things, but like or I was using it to write like my performance reviews for individuals at work. Yeah, fuck yeah. But like I never thought about
it's versatile.
It is, but like I never thought about like pictures and like all the cool shit that you can do with it. But like I keep your boxes like when they're like there's nothing in here, but like I literally keep them and I just think they're fucking cool. And the what is it? The iTunes Epley? Is that how you the
Eden's.
Edens? Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
Eden. Yeah.
So you re-released this last drop. I think you put out a few. I managed to get one, and I posted it on one of the many soap groups that we're on. And everyone's like, "How? I didn't even realize this was released." And I was like, "I just happened to come across it." So the so when this episode drops, you will have a new release coming out, or you'll have a new. Is it a collab that's coming out on the 3rd?
Yeah, there's a couple things coming out on the 3rd. So I did a barbershop collab with this Shawano Barbers in Wisconsin. And so Jesse and I started talking right around when I started bringing out. It was actually right after those new boxes came out. Everything spiked. It's crazy. But he had said, "Hey, what about doing some wholesale stuff?" And I'm like, "Oh, I never did wholesale, so I don't even know how that all works." But yeah, I wanted to have my I went to quite a few local barbershops here, and nobody was interested in carrying my stuff. So I thought, well, what the hell? Why not? I think it'd be cool. And so, we started doing that. And then he said, "Hey, would you be willing to do a collab with me for May?" That's his anniversary of his owning his barbershop. Sure. And so I said, yeah. I said, matter of fact, my 2-year anniversary for Valhalla is in May. My sobriety anniversary is in May. I think it'd be cool to run this thing. And so he came up with. He said he wanted to obviously do a barbershop scent. I already have one in America AF. Yes. And so I needed to make it different. So he said, well, I want it to smell like a barbershop in Wisconsin. I go, okay, well, you're going to have to tell me what that is. Does it smell like fucking cow shit?
If you AI generated it would make it smell like cheddar cheese.
Cheese and cow shit.
Cow shit, yeah.
So he said, well, when I come in the barbershop, I can smell pine trees outside. I can smell, it's an older building.
Yep.
So you smell the wood floors, leather chairs, and then shaving cream. So I just got to work, and I started buying different fragrance oils that, came up with different things that I could take each piece of each one. And I mixed shit. I probably made like 10 variations of stuff for him. And I didn't tell him what was in them. I just numbered them. And because there's some shit in there that he would be like, yeah. There's one thing I said, well, I'm going to put some of this. And he's like, well, where would you even get that? Like I used a mango coconut.
Sure.
And he goes, what the hell would you use that for? I said, for the fucking shaving cream. I need the sweetness.
Sure.
And so the one that we settled on, I absolutely love it. It came out great, and it captured everything that he was looking for. So, we had settled on that, and then he said, well, I want to have my buddy do the artwork for the boxes. And he goes, I'll pay for the artwork, which was good for me because the AI does take some time and takes me, I gave him my box template, and his buddy came up with, took him a while, but he came up with that for the beard oil, for the butter, and for the soap. And so it turned out really well. A little hectic when I had to get my box orders in because China has a whole shit ton of freaking weird holidays, man.
Sure,
and they're all for 2 weeks at a time.
Yeah, right.
So,
it's not like a day.
So that, yeah, exactly. And that had me stressed out, but we got through it. So that one comes out May 3rd. Another collab that the one soap that I have, Athelstan, is a collab I did with this guy. He runs his podcast is called, or his YouTube show is called The Violent Monk. Okay. And he's all about like everyday carry, self-defense, getting your mind and body straight. He's pretty straightforward guy. He's a cool ass dude. And so we decided to do another addition to it. And he's all about 100% essential oils. He's a Native American guy.
Sure.
and he's all about nature, essential oils and stuff. And he wanted to do a woodsy one this
Okay.
time.
All right.
And woodsy doesn't sell very well. There's, like we talked about early, the earthy stuff isn't, it's really targeted to a certain audience. So, so I said, let's do it. I'll carry it as a main line for a little bit. And it's called if I'm saying it right, Utasita.
Okay.
Which is the old Norse pagan practice called outsitting. There's different definitions of it called outsitting. It's basically pagan shamans had used that as a form of meditation out in nature. So they would go out into the woods and sit there and meditate. And that kind of goes along with the whole thing of the violent monk is getting your mind straight, a lot of meditation involved in that. So that one came out pretty nice. It's got, it's a smoky, woodsy pine scent.
Okay.
It's not going to be for everybody.
That's fair.
But I like it. So I'm doing that in a deodorant. Okay. I'm doing that in a soap, oil, and a butter. And then the other one, I have a beard wash already called Tears of the Jotner.
I got that right back behind me. That's
so I love the scent of that one. It's so fresh and clean. That's all essential oils. Okay. And so I decided to make a soap for that. Nice. Okay. And so I'll have the soap come with that. And if I could get to it, I'm going to make a bunch of deodorants to go to it. But I'm
sure.
We'll see if I could get those made. I might only be able to get 20
whenever
or so
I
made.
Hear like outdoorsy stuff, I think of like pine, just like a pine scent. I feel like that goes really well with the soaps usually.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't smell like pine sol.
Right.
You don't want it to smell like a freaking cleaning agent.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or the taxi cab air fresheners.
Oh yeah, the hanging tree. Yeah. I feel like I always end up forgetting to like get on right when the drop happens, and then I miss out on something. And I feel like it bit me in the ass. When you did the Halloween, the friggin' pumpkin drop, and like I missed it by dude, it sold out so fucking fast that I had to end up trading in our fucking soap groups to get one. But I feel like every time the drops happen, I try to get something that I wouldn't typically use. So like when you did the last drop, I got the beard wash, and I got a couple of things from Hemp Wizard, which were fucking awesome. But I picked
Mike
up,
makes good shit.
Oh yeah, it is. It's really good. I think I got Maui Wowie and Grape Stomper. Yeah, and then I picked up your beard wash, and I would have never really even considered it if I. And then the drop before that, I think I got your your soap case, like the little carrying case that you have. So I try to get something new. Every time you do a drop, and I try to convince Eric to do so, but he ends up just taking shit from me when I overbuy.
You've just got so much. So I don't go through a bar. It takes me like 3 weeks to go through one little bar.
It's not that I want to say I get bored with it, but I like to just rotate.
Variety, spice of
variety. But how do you feel about because in the soap groups, and I'm guilty of it, people sell shit and trade shit all the time. Does that bother you when you see your stuff being sold in those groups? I know some people are super anti, don't sell my shit or whatever. I don't care. What's your?
No, it's a good question. But no, I think it's kind of cool because like you said, all scents aren't for everybody. Yep. So it's not like you get a freaking scratch and sniff ahead of time to see what you're going to buy.
Sure. Right.
You know what I mean? There's stuff that I bought from other makers that is a great product. I just didn't like the scent. But for me, the way I look at it from a business owner standpoint, I won't go resell. I had never thought about trading, but I won't go resell somebody else's stuff because I would rather those people go to their website to buy their stuff, if that makes sense. So I'll just donate it. Like I have a bunch of beard shit that I've bought from just to support people. Like, you mentioned Hemp Wizard. Mike Wiseman's a friend of mine. He's a really cool, awesome dude. There are a couple of things I got from him that don't, that the scent doesn't work for me. The oil is freaking awesome, but I just didn't like the scent. But I'm not going to go sell it. I offered, like, in Hayden Despain has that the new group that he has. I asked him, hey, I got a bunch of beard stuff that. Because I'm a fan just like everybody else, man. I love Voodoo Men's Craft. I love Alex's shit. He makes great shit.
I'm using the only pomade I'll use is Alex. It's so fucking good. Like, it's just fantastic.
His scents are. I'll never give away any of his shit. But so far, there might be some I pick up that I didn't like, but and I don't say that to pick on Mike at all. It's just something that I didn't like. Or there's Passport Grooming. That guy, he shut down, but he made some great stuff. And so Chris, I think his name was, and so I just told Hayden, I said, hey, I've got a whole bunch of stuff I might have used once or twice. I see that people really don't care about that too much. Are you okay if I just send a box for you to do some giveaways and shit? And he said, yeah, hell yeah. I said, feel free to take whatever you want. Right. But so for me to do that, I think it is, it's a personal thing for me. I think it's a dick move for me to do that. I would rather direct them to go buy from Mike's website or buy from Alex's website. That's just the way I am.
And
but to see people selling my stuff and trade, sometimes I'll be like, man, that's kind of fucked up, but because I want everybody to like everything, but that's not reality.
So that's reasonable.
The one that does bother me, if I gave something away, if I give somebody a tester of something, I just pick people at random and say, hey, this is what's coming out. Let me know what you think. I don't want to see that go float around to people because I don't have ingredient labels on them. And that to me is important that I follow the law. Number one. And I gave it to a specific person. I don't care if you're going to go make $15 off it. That's great, but it doesn't have an ingredients label on it. And if somebody that was given to had a reaction to it, that comes back on me, and I had no control over that. So that's the only thing that bothers me, honestly.
And so, like, when I sell shit, I will normally overbuy and then try to slim down, but I never sell for more than. So I got it for free.
Greg, I'm convinced you just want to smell everything. Like your nose is just like a slut. You just need those smells.
I just need it.
You want every single one, and you're like, all right, yay, nay, yay, nay, yay, nay.
So
and then
there are really two soap brands that I use, yours and Allen's, Okie Dokie. Like, I think those are the only two that I really buy. And I buy every drop. I make sure I get at least one of each bar. And then, like a piece of shit, I do Shop Pay or PayPal and pay it off over 4 installments. But but I never, and if there's something like I don't necessarily like, I typically do just message Hayden, and I'm like, hey, dude, you want to trade? And him and I trade and sell shit back and forth all the fucking time, or Kevin or whomever. Like, we'll just trade stuff. I've traded more. It's so weird too, because you think about it, it's like, oh, I stuck my finger in this butter, but here you go, stranger. But like, you wouldn't do that with like other things, but for whatever reason, it's cool.
It's all right.
It's fine in this world. I did see someone trying to sling deodorant that they only used once or twice, and at some point it's like, dude, like that we're not doing.
Deodorant. How about deodorant?
Soap.
What about
I don't want used soap, lip balm.
Lip balm, sure. What about underwear? How do you feel about used underwear?
No, I'm good.
They do.
I'm good. It's one thing I won't get from Goodwill.
Right. It always skeeves me out the used
$4 panty rack
section.
Oh, it's different when you call them panties. I don't know.
Now, I do have to ask. So, you have the drop coming on the 3rd. Do you have any collabs coming up in the future? I know like all that stuff's typically planned out. Like, do you have things that you're working on, or is it like super secret?
No, it's not secret. I haven't said anything
Yeah.
yet, but one thing that I thought, you know what, I've gotta bring, not that my heart's not in it. I'm just so fucking
Sure.
exhausted.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, I want to, I need to get me through the rest of this year,
Yeah.
because the way my brain works, you know, I had mentioned sobriety.
Yeah.
I was, you know, I'm alcoholic recovering. I'll have 4 years on Cinco de Mayo, ironically.
Okay.
Congratulations.
But
Congrats,
what
man.
oh, thanks, man. But the biggest problem I worked for an engineering firm for about 8 years, and I was their field guy. So I traveled a lot of being away from my family had me down. So, you know, of course I had to drown all that. But the biggest reason I got that far down the rabbit hole, um, there were two things to it. My my dad was killed by a drunk driver when I was 16,
Wow.
and I carried a lot of hate for a long time, and so, you know, that always, you know, the I don't know, the euphoria of it, whatever it is, it never made me really make it any better.
Sure.
It wasn't until I got sober that I actually was able to come to terms with it. But the biggest reason I did it was because my brain doesn't shut down.
Sure.
I couldn't sleep. So I was constantly like, what am I doing tomorrow? What do I have going on? And my brain, that's why the math and the chemistry and all that stuff works well for me, because I'm a very calculated person.
Yeah.
And my brain is constantly moving. So I would, you know, hit the gin or vodka that was in the 140-degree garage and a bunch of Advil PM, and I'd go to sleep.
Sure.
And then wake up the next day. I never drank during work.
Right.
I never did any. Thank God I never got a DUI or anything like that. But so when I started, you know, now I've just been so overwhelmed lately with, you know, I keep adding shit. Of course, I'm going to add fucking deodorants to my lineup and start having to make more
The
shit.
deodorants are great though, man. They're really fucking good. So.
Oh, I appreciate it. Well, I've got a lot of choices coming out here.
Right.
That I've been spending a lot of time, and they're a pain in the balls to make too. So
they work really well.
But yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. But so I just said, you know what? I did it. I made a custom for my buddy DL Walker, and he had asked me months back when I was still doing customs if I would do something for his birthday in May. So I came out. He just left it to me. He said, "This is what I want it to smell like." Or not even tell me what I wanted to smell like. These are some scents that he likes. He wanted a real dark cologne type of thing, and called it Nidhogger's Malice, which is a dragon that chews on the roots of the world tree. And I made this for him, and I'm like, I made a couple different versions. I said, "Do you want me to send it?" And he goes, "Send me what your favorite one is." I'm like, "Fuck, dude," because I got two of them that are really
there's
good.
some pressure
that I think, yeah. And so I put my wife and my daughter through the sniff test, and you know, so I had the consensus. This is the one, and I'm very particular about what I put out because I want it to be great every time. And you know, the reality is it's not going to be great for somebody, but I need it to be, and especially for something special like that, because he's such an awesome dude. He's like an older brother to me. I talk to that guy more than I talk to my brothers. And so I made him a soap. I made him some beard oils to go with it. And another cool guy I met on Facebook, Tom Zimmer, he's friends with DL too. And he said, "Hey, I'll pay you to make him some beard wash and some butters too." And I'm like, "Fuck, dude, come on, man. You know, it's killing me." But so I did it because I wanted to make this birthday box special. So I know it's a long drawn out answer to the collabs, but
no.
He loved it so much and I loved it so much that I asked him permission because it was special to him. And I said, "Would you be okay if I use this as a Halloween scent? If not, it's totally cool, but it was something I made special. It meant something to me and it meant something to him." And he said, "Brother, I'd be fucking honored if you did that." And so I'm working on the design for that. The AI came up with some badass fucking images and he goes, "Dude, that's exactly what was in my head."
That's awesome.
So I'll be releasing that on Halloween.
Okay.
Hayden had come to me last year, and his daughter has, I think it's cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And he asked if I would be willing to do a collab with him on that, and I said hell yeah. So I'm working with him
Sure.
on doing that, and for a donation one.
Okay.
And then Kevin Walsh, another cool
Yeah.
dude, had asked me, and so I said, you know what, I'll put you guys towards the end of the year.
Sure.
And then he brought in Alexis into the thing, and she starts talking. And I said, you know what, fuck it, why not the rest of my year? Because I already have summer made out. The rest of the year, I'm going to have collab stuff as my limited edition stuff, and I think it's kind of cool because I get to engage my friends and people who have been so supportive of me and stuff, and they're helping me with. They did their own AI,
Sure.
and they're giving me a profile, and I'll mix it up for them. You know,
That's cool, man.
So-
And like, I feel like there's not a lot of people that would do that. You know, like that would. Actually, it would be more like, hey, I'm just putting out what I'm putting out, and that's it. You know, not fuck you, but you know,
Hey, everyone loves a team up.
Collabs are fucking awesome. We have a collab coming up that I'm excited. I think collabs just make people feel good. Like they just like it's cool to just be a part of something. And to like say like, hey, I kind of, even though like you're kind of doing all like the actual making part, but to actually have a part in like, hey, this is kind of, and then to have you or whoever you're working with kind of see it come to a head and come full circle is just fucking awesome. I know I got the was it the Blood Eagle, and I think that was Hayden as well. And you, and that bar is fucking great. Like that smells fucking awesome. I have that sitting right behind me. That's gonna be my next one. But no, I think collabs are cool, man. I think that you doing that is fucking awesome.
I'll tell you what. Before I know we're getting we're getting late into the show, but I am curious. Valhalla, and then the like kind of Viking theme. I like the like you've named a few types and some like it sounds like lore, like some real life, you know, I don't historical or like however that is, fantasy, religious, whatever that stuff is. What's the passion behind that? Is there something that you're like closely associated with, or are you just a fan, or you know, what is it?
Just really a fan. I mean, I grew up kind of just really into medieval times, and I loved the Norse culture. I thought it was, you know, it's always portrayed as these savage barbarian people, but they were fucking farmers. They were traders. They were seafaring people. And yes, they did conquer. Yes, they did go and raid places, but a lot of times it was
plenty of pillaging, you know, and conquering was to be had back then by everybody.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly. It went always, you know, they could sit there and say that the Christians were, you know, all these, you know, peaceful people. They were fucking raiding everybody just the same. So it was a free for all back in the day. Right. But, you know, I when I started, I just loved that culture. And I'm a Christian myself. I grew up Catholic. I don't really practice Catholicism. I just believe in God. Sure. But I just the fun of it, the mythology, when you read it and you research it, I've done a lot of research into it. The mythology is just cool as shit. You know, there's stories and the things behind it. And so, yeah, just to get it. And you know, I just a fan of the culture. You know, I think the beliefs are pretty awesome when you read the stories and stuff. So that's really the story behind it. You know, and you know, I've got, you know, I'm bald because, you know, my hair, I'm not going to go Costanza. So I shave my head, and I got the beard. So it goes along with the Kratos thing and everything. So that's where I came up with my logo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I definitely don't want to do the full Costanza.
Now, I was going to ask, are you ever going to do shampoos and conditioners, or is that just like, meh? Like, that's not really.
No. Yeah. I just don't have, I've had to back some things out. Like I quit doing balms and waxes. Yeah. It's too much. The deodorants seem to be really popular, so I really ramped up those. I'm a little worried about how they're going to ship this summer, so we'll see how that goes. But I've got a lot coming out on those on May 3rd. Blood Eagle's one of them.
I always see the posts of like the labels melting and shit in Arizona. From
dude.
How hot it is. And like we're in Delaware, so
but hold on. What we always say, Arizona, it's a dry heat. It's not that bad. I don't actually. Okay, so I've never been to Arizona, but I don't give a fuck. 108 degrees is still 108 degrees. Or I don't know how hot it is normally over there.
Well, 108's not that bad. It's when you get above 110 is when it sucks.
Oh,
108, like today it probably, yesterday it got over 100. It was 102 yesterday. It's not bad. It really isn't. Wow. There really is no humidity. And so you don't really, and you could go into the shade and get relief. You're not sweating. I'm from New York originally, so I know what sweating balls really is, and that's,
it's terrible.
But 110, when you get into the 120, it's fucking miserable. You don't want to be out. You can't even go in the pool. Hot. My pool gets to 97 degrees in the summer.
Yeah,
your pool's a hot tub.
You're just swimming in a giant bathtub.
Yeah. So you jump in, you cool off for a second, but the funny part is you get out of the water and you're freaking shivering, and it's 110 out. It's weird.
That blows my mind. I mean, I think we're supposed to get up to like the 80s here in Delaware next week, and it's like, oh, that's gonna be way too hot, but I couldn't, and that's like hot for us. I feel like we get to 100 sometimes.
Even when it's like 90 something, I feel like I could chew on the heat. Like it's just like thick and marshy and swampy everywhere, and it's just uncomfortable. So I should take a trip. I've heard it's beautiful in Arizona though, so I've been meaning to take a trip there.
It is, and I could drive 2 hours and be up in the mountains and there's snow. It's
that's cool.
Yeah, but not in the summer. It'll be probably in the 80s when you get up there, but
right.
Still hot. Yeah.
My website is www.valhallabeardandbody.net, and it's it shows how to stock a lot, but that's why I had to go to the drop model, just because I'll do a drop within 15 minutes. Most of the stuff is sold, and I'll have 100 orders, and I'm blessed. But man, it's a rough weekend, and it's hard to keep stuff in, because my original, I wanted to have stuff in stock all the time, but now you go on there and there's stuff sold out all the time, so it's just hard. So I gotta do the drop model. My Instagram, I'm not on there as much anymore. It's just at Valhalla Beard and Body. Same with Facebook. And then I have the Facebook group, which is a really good group of people. No drama in there. Valhalla Beard and Body Berserkers. Okay. We just got up over 750 people in that one.
Oh,
so
shit. Okay.
I'm going to have to do a giveaway on that, but yeah, it's cool because, and as soon as somebody does start doing stupid shit, I'm just going to fucking kick them out, because I don't, there's no need, why talk shit? Everybody's got to be a keyboard tough guy. It's not, I grew up fighting. So having somebody talk shit to me on a fall, right. So it's like, you wouldn't say it to my face, but
we were having this conversation, Eric and I were like, and I was even having this conversation with my wife, and like, I'm not going to name any group names, but I got kicked out of a soap group for I don't even know what the fuck I did. Apparently I was like spying or something. And so like the drama in soap groups blows my fucking mind.
The soap groups, Greg got into the soap groups. To me, yeah, it's insane. I can't understand how it's so like, what is
like
it?
At the end of the day, it's fucking hygiene items. Like that's all it is. They're like personal hygiene. It's not like they're life essential items.
It has to be. The only thing that I've come to it has to be that people are passionate about it. right?
Mhm.
Like
I don't
people
know,
bring
man. There's
passion over to
passion,
this.
and then there's just fucking crazy. And I feel like
Yeah,
some of-
it's yeah, that people get offended so freaking easily from something, and it's like, man, I don't. That's why I
dude,
don't
it's
comment on a lot of stuff
Yeah,
because
Tim,
I have a tendency to
to
offend many people.
Tim, to chime in on what you said, that you know, like people wouldn't say that to your face. You look like you could beat the shit out of me, so I would not say shit to your face. So,
I've curbed that anger down a lot since I got sober, so that makes it a little bit easier.
That's fantastic. I still respectfully wouldn't, just in case.
Well, that kind of solidifies my wife said I always look mean.
Sure.
That's what she said. She
probably stops
she
people
says
from
nobody
saying
talked
that
to us.
stuff to you.
well,
It was yeah.
Well, it was funny too. Like when I was reaching out to bring, like we've been wanting to bring more guests on. Like we kind of figured out the Eric and I model, where like we need to just bring cool people on. And so when I reached out to you, I was like, I don't want to just have like, you know, soap maker and like beard oil makers, but I reached out to you specifically because I'm like, well, I want to have Tim on, and I feel like he would probably do it, and it would be a good conversation. So I appreciate you. You responded to me really fucking fast, and then to come on, I think we had the initial conversation. What? Tuesday, something like that. Like it wasn't long ago, and then I was like, hey, well, maybe Friday. So Eric and I definitely appreciate it, and I know I posted in the groups that you were coming on, and we've been getting a lot of positive feedback about that. So I know a lot of people they adore you in the community. So I think it's just they'll enjoy this. I know I did.
No, I'm honored you guys asked me, man. I just see myself as just a regular guy that fucking I work two jobs and bust my ass, and to just have you guys think to have me on the show means a lot to me, and I appreciate that. I don't think I'm anything special at all. I just like doing weird shit,
Well, we definitely appreciate it. Thanks again, Tim. I'm Greg.
And I'm Eric.
And we are the Daddies.